That's what I thought podcast kind of was. I watched podcast episodes, but I didn't realize that they were recorded without a chat or an audience. I don't know why. I just assumed it was off screen.
Well,
Oh
some
my
some are
god.
recorded live.
Yeah, like
Not
some
all.
Yeah,
are,
some are.
some are, and I think like I watch a thing called Drama Time, which is like a story, like a WoW YouTuber does like stories from like people's weird interactions on the internet, whether it's in an MMO or like other generally games. But it started out as just weird stories from time in WoW, and it's branched out to other stuff. But yeah, he records that live, but it also gets posted as episodes, and it's kind of done in like a podcast style or format.
Speaking of WoW, have you seen that pirate software drama?
Oh my god. We're starting with that?
Yeah, there we go.
That
Okay, here we
was
go.
a
Episode
rabbit
2.
hole. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Has he done
Yeah,
anything?
please say a
Is this
little
the first? Is this the first thing? Like, I haven't ever heard anything
The
bad
first
about, like, that he's gotten in trouble for. I haven't ever heard anything bad about this dude. Like,
Very bad stuff, no, but it was like a general like vibe, and from what I've seen, see, so there was this one clip, right? Um, months and months and months ago.
you and I
Where
are
he
gonna be
was.
so vibes based, because that's me. I see a person and I don't say anything until they fail, but I'm just like, I get the vibe, man. Like, you're like, it was the
It's
completionist was the
general
same thing,
probation, you know.
bro. I knew. Like, I fucking
Oh, really?
oh, I
He
didn't.
complete these games every week. That's horseshit.
No, he rubbed me the wrong way. Like, some people have that sort of charisma that just strikes you as incredibly phony, and like that was him all the way through. Like,
Mm.
I think a
See, I
lot of
never
people.
consumed enough of his content to like really.
Oh, I'm very judgmental. I watched like one video and was like, "Oh, this guy's phony as fuck," and then saw he failed like 5 years later.
Oh yeah, see, like I never seen a full video of his. I've seen like him on Twitter and then like clips from
Mhm.
like his YouTube videos. So I was like, oh, the completionist guy is like a scammer. That's crazy. Doesn't he just play games?
He didn't do his taxes, what?
He didn't do his
Yeah,
stuff.
like,
Yeah,
wait a minute. Like,
allegedly. Oh yeah, we have to put allegedly after all of these things because I don't think
oh,
anyone's.
right.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, so we're live,
Don't
but
sue us.
not live, but we're recording. Whatever, same difference.
But with the pirate software thing, it was a clip from months and months ago where, they just like asked his opinion about politics, and he's like, I don't do politics or something like that. Some very
That's such a
like
dog whistle.
self-centered, yeah, it was some very like pretentious, enlightened centrist thing where he's
like we're all on the same page that like if you don't care about politics, it's because you have the luxury of feeling that it doesn't impact you.
exactly.
Like,
And, like,
it's such a
the clip didn't
privileged,
make-
entitled take.
Yeah, and the clip didn't make like very much, headway or headlines or whatever, because it was just kind of like, oh, okay, his chat kind of agreed with them, going yes based, and it just didn't really make it outside of that like specific
I hate that. That's such a.
post.
It's the I don't. It's right there. I don't get political, and that's just my opinion, bro. Like, those are the two things that I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh, you have no original thoughts. Okay, good to know.
Yeah, and like from that
I
moment
think-
on, I was like, he's kind of sus.
Yeah.
I think it's one thing to not
It's
want
one-
to do politics at all. Like if your brand or online identity is completely separate, like I don't think Scott
Yeah.
Adams is ever gonna talk about like if he's voting fucking Republican or not. But
Right.
I like when I think when people like
that's
that's
more power to you. But then you go and platform like
yeah,
has been goal.
and then you're
Is
gonna
that not inherently like a
poli-
statement?
and because these are the people that think that
Yeah.
being political means stating your political stances relative to like the politics of, like, in this case, the United
Who you
States or
voting
whatever.
for president?
Yeah, and like,
Yeah.
no, like, politics is literally like your stance on like your politics is everything. Like,
Your
it-
stance
yeah.
on life.
Yeah, like, it's not. I always hate these people that are like, oh, it's not making political. It's like, we're not talking, like, we're talking about video games here. This isn't about
We're
politics.
Not
We're
talking
not.
about like contemporary politics.
Yeah, we're not talking election results. We're talking about how, like, current events mean. If you're talking about current events, there is a political nature to that almost on every level most of the time. Like,
Exactly.
it's just, yeah. It's one of those things where
And like his aversion to it, like definitely, and the way he responded to that comment.
no, that's always
definitely,
a
like,
red flag. Like, the whole
Yeah.
I don't do politics thing is always, I know I'm going to get flamed. It's literally something people that have cultured a generally positive or wholesome image are generally the first to say that they don't talk politics, because what they mean is they don't talk politics because their politics are probably more conservative than an audience of wholesome people would agree with.
Exactly. It's either that,
Like-
right? It's
like-
either your politics are awful and like you have views, or you're so
Yeah.
apathetic to it that it's like you're like you don't even know who's running for president. You know,
Yeah.
like it's either complete apathy or you're like a secretly a horrible person.
Yeah. And it's like, and if you have true apathy to like politics, like that's too disinterested. And
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I think anybody who is thinking critically about the things they engage with knows at some level that like politics is gonna. If you talk about anything, like it's everything. If everything has to do with money, money is inherently political. Economics are inherently political, and everything has to do with money. So therefore,
Yeah, just like a complete ignorance of like what is politics in general.
yeah,
Or it's like I have the most horrible views about
yeah, it's definitely red
a given
flaggy.
topic.
Because there's ways to answer
it's
that
so
don't.
cowardly, yeah.
There's ways to answer that have nothing to do with contemporary politics that still signal who you are as a human. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I believe that all people should have like equal rights and equal opportunities, and that like, you know,
Exactly.
there shouldn't be billionaires, eat the rich, and extrapolate from there. Like,
Yeah. Like, and it doesn't even have to be that detailed. Like,
I can literally say I believe in human decency and being kind to other people, and they can identify me by that. Like, it's not.
And then they'll type, "Oh, you're woke," in the comments.
And it's like, yeah, it's like, bam, they got me, they picked me. You know, being kind to people's woke now. So
Human decency, you're a commie. You're woke.
Yep, literally.
I will be taking away my Twitch Prime sub.
So okay, so that's the rundown on our latest streamer drama. Apparently, Pyro Software's
That's
in
why
the hot
you
wall.
come here.
Yeah.
Yeah. For your latest streamer drama, dude.
Yeah, it's,
Where we cover the news, like
current
probably
events.
a week or so after it happens. Current when we record, maybe not even then.
Don't mind the fact that episodes 0 and 1 are going to come out like way after they're relevant. It's fine. We're good. It's
Ignore the fact that I had a different haircut in the first episode and we're missing a person.
it's been a minute. Well, 11 had a Splatoon scrim.
That
Anyway,
doesn't even sound real.
bro, let's not get into it.
Shit gets real. Shit gets real.
Let's not get into comp Splatoon. I got some words. Anyway, so
Yeah, another
okay,
episode of it.
that's our latest our opening with our latest streamer drama. Let's talk about other things. We have
In more somber news,
in more somber news. Oh, the death of my beloved Suicide Squad, episode 8, the final episode for the final season of Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League, is out. I've played it. KG's played it. Breezer's a fake gamer.
I have a job.
Breezer has a job. KG also has a job.
I work for money. I work.
let's please a moment of silence.
You know,
for
now
Suicide
that I
Squad.
think about that, KG also has a job and plays a lot of games, Breezer.
I'm
You want
just
to know the
built
funny thing?
different.
Actually, you want to know the
What?
funny thing?
What?
I was recording a second channel video this morning, and the game updated while I was playing. I was like, "What the fuck?" It just popped up in the right side of my screen while I was recording. I was like, "God damn it!" Ruined my
It was
recording.
calling to you. It was calling to you.
Oh my god, that's funny.
You
Ah,
ignored the
funniest part
call.
was I was playing Gotham Knights.
That's
Oh,
actually
that's
peak.
poetically evil.
I
Yeah, physically ill.
well, so we've played it.
I mean,
and,
hell, servers probably weren't even up by the time I would have been able to play this morning. So.
yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
So I guess I think we agree the gist is so far it's bittersweet. They went out with a bit of a
Bittersweet.
whimper, honestly, and I mean, what?
You can probably take out the sweet part, honestly. I mean,
No,
Yeah,
I mean, listen.
It's
in
bitter.
terms of
I'm
sweetness-
I'm bitter because I I love that
You
game.
know-
It's just we're not getting any more of it, and like, and what sucks is how much it like ruins my ability to like engage with it even like now. Like I didn't really play much of last episode because like I knew we weren't gonna get a season 5 and on and stuff, because it's like so much of the enjoyment is like the potential where things are going and like the possibilities with build crafting that open up over time, and the way like different, the way you're going to be able to tackle different content with the characters that you've mastered. Like the whole thing about a game being able to continue going like that is a big part of like the enjoyment of engaging with all the different systems. Like, why are you min-maxing your build? Why are you getting this better? Why are you climbing the leaderboard? Yada yada. Like, all that stuff is
Partially,
so reliant on it getting to keep going, and so I'm just kind of like,
I agree.
man,
I agree. For
I
me
love it, but it
personally,
just makes me
like,
sad.
yeah, yeah, and it's definitely super bittersweet that, you know, this episode it has some of the best gear sets that they've done. Some of the best
God,
like
see,
tutorials items.
I was so
Uh,
burnt out or so sad about the whole thing that like I didn't even look at what the new stuff did.
didn't even look at them, man.
Cause,
You know, new status effect, right?
yeah,
Super huge like glass cannon focus with like this the tier sets and whatnot, like
sure.
increasing the enemy damage, increasing your damage, like really like stuff that I've been asking for, you know,
Hmm.
since like the beginning. Just like I want to lean fully into glass cannons, and the biggest thing for me, right? My squad
Oh
levels
my God, yeah.
after after early access
Okay,
in
let's clarify. Let's set this up for the audience.
oh yeah, that's right, that's right. Let's give some context. So I pre-ordered the deluxe edition for Suicide Squad, played the game at launch,
You also played in the
played in the
testing.
closed alpha playtest as well, which was like,
Bro's a truther.
man, like September of last year, or like the year before launch,
Yeah.
2023. September 2023, played the digital deluxe, got the early access and whatnot. My third day, second or third day, my squad levels jumped up to 200 plus, or like 999 or something. I got the achievement for reaching squad level 50. I literally played like maybe 2 hours of like in-game content. It jumped up there. I restarted my app, went to my squad levels. It was in the negatives. I couldn't level up. I couldn't assign a skill point. Actually, I lied. I had a single skill point I could assign, but I could not gain levels past one, I guess. And it was stuck like that for every season, every episode,
It's
every
almost like it
patch.
marked you as like an exploiter. Like, it's the kind of thing where like
Yeah.
if they were like
I think
going
this
around,
was artificially boosted his levels, so it like marked him as like a cheater.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like it
I was
sounds
having,
like
and this was when they were having server issues too. You know, this was in the early access
that'd be
period.
really
So,
funny if you like got caught by like a battle eye level type thing that was just like cheater, cheater.
oh yeah,
Because we were all
yeah. They
bitching
were like,
about the
nice try, buddy.
well, we were all bitching about the leaderboards and stuff, and but this was day 2 or 3, so like this would have been before we even got there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, this is the early days. You know, people were couldn't even play the game in the
Yeah.
early access, and they
Yeah.
were compensated for that. But I guess I was just, you know, cursed. I was marked. My account was marked with the red X, and I was not able to earn squad levels from like the early access
So you put in a
for the
ticket,
rest of the game.
and you've been
So I put in a ticket.
and you've waited for basically every patch. You've crossed your fingers and hopped
I have
in
put in a ticket every season about this issue.
just
To be
just to
clear,
refresh
to be
it,
clear, every season I'm like,
and you
maybe,
check every
maybe next
patch.
season, maybe next season. Read the patch notes,
Maybe
you
next
know,
episode.
hoping against hope that poor
Oh.
little me will be able to engage with this aspect of the game. You know, I've put in screenshots, I've put in like replications, I've done the
Mhm.
whole bug ticket, you know, application thing as thorough as possible.
Oh,
You
that's
know, and
painful.
hey, it took until the last episode for me to
It
finally be
was a
able to engage
parting
with
gift.
this.
So yeah, so
My the one
as of
parting gift
today, yeah, and you know what I think,
as of today.
and I think it's just the way they'd unlocked all squad. They probably just like reset or unlocked or did whatever to everybody's squad levels the way.
Yeah, and it got caught up in the whatever they did, like fixed it for me.
Finally, after a year, we're
Like wasn't
because
even a targeted
we're
fix, but just
literally
like
we
a side
are
effect.
2 weeks basically to the day from the year anniversary of the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Almost a full year of this bug being in the game. And it finally getting fixed.
Well, yeah, so they finally fixed
Speaking of
it.
shit that didn't work, I don't think my clan like care packages like consistently worked from when I started playing the game to like now. Like I'll have periods of when they work, but then like a next update will come and it just break again.
Yeah, I had
I'll
an
have to
issue.
check, I'll have to check
Really?
if they work.
I had an issue with care packages for a while because what it was doing is I remember they were like resetting where like I'd get them to max, and then I'd like so I spent so many like hours just mindlessly like when I was running around shooting drones that weren't getting me like anything, and then like it would reset my care package and I'd have to go kill the drones again. Like it was something I never
Goddamn,
had
it's a hell of
to.
a eulogy.
Yeah, it was
Man,
something I never.
you're just
Well, it's something I never actually had to do because like I was just always killing them anyway, just because it was fun. But yeah, onto the good
yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
I fucking love the game, and now that's why I'm sad because like, bro, we're just
yeah,
not gonna get
yeah.
another. Like aside from like, I get like people hate the live service looter shooter thing. I get it. Like I get that they don't know what they're talking about because they're gamers. But like, bro, like, we're never gonna get a game with the like. It's gonna be not never, but it's gonna be so long till we get a game with this kind of movement again, like the sense of like movement and the scale
Yeah,
of the environments. And
no other looter shooter has like combined movement and gunplay in a way that Suicide Squad did
it's just like it was
as well
so,
as it did.
and the like, and realistically more than that, the build crafting is like I put 100 hours in Path of Exile 2. Great game, incredible build crafting system. I've put a ton of hours into all these other looter shooters. I can say with confidence, Suicide Squad has the most interesting gear pieces and like effects put on gear in a looter ever. Just not even close. Like Diablo 3, Diablo 4, Destiny, Borderlands, it doesn't matter. The way that they all synergize and the different crazy combinations you can make, and the substantial like the scale and like depth and like power of their effects is insane. Like I mean,
Yeah.
there is no game with build crafting on that caliber. Like I think Path of Exile probably I could say is of that caliber maybe, but it's not
I'll
nearly
just
as
say that it's the most intuitive build crafting system I've ever experienced
it's
in a
super
looter, period.
it's super intuitive. You can
Like,
re-roll
they cracked the
every
code.
yeah, like, and they let you do everything. You can re-roll everything. You can re-roll any stat on any piece of gear. Like it gives you all the things that you want in something that offers these kinds of gear drops and loot rolls and stuff. Like it's
Yeah.
just rare enough that things feel good to get, but once you get the piece, you don't have to go farm for a more perfect version of it. Like once you have the highest level of that piece, you have the highest level of that piece. You got the Master 5, you got the Master 5. Doesn't matter what the rolls are, you can get all the perfect rolls by rolling it yourself over and over and over. Like you can change all these things with very little like repercussion. There's no there's no downsides to the way you engage with any of it. Like, and it all just
Exactly.
combined so seamlessly. Like that's the thing that I'm gonna miss the most. Is I honestly just spent so much time looking at the gear and coming up with the builds, and then when you'd get something that'd work and it worked together, and like you literally you put a whole build together and be like, okay, I think this will work, and it's not doing quite enough. Where'd he go? Where'd it go? Huh. Easy.
Wait, what? What happened?
I see his thing flashing, but he's not making any noise.
Oh no.
Oh, so someone stepped into his room. Okay, he's good. He's fine. We'll just edit that out.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, no worries. But yeah,
in
like
terms of the like build crafting, and I'll say this,
mhm.
it's such a challenge for like looters to be able to have all these effects and these interactions and whatnot and make it clear to the
Player how they
player.
work. Yeah,
Yeah, Destiny 2 has struggled with this. Destiny itself has
and
struggled
even
with this
and like even
for
then, it's like
years and years.
they're so minute. Like in my video on the looter shooters, I looked at all the Destiny exotics and
Yeah,
stuff, and it's like, first of all, the average Destiny exotic is as interesting as a Suicide Squad legendary piece, a yellow, and you can have two of them.
yeah.
And Suicide Squad has 2 other levels of gear that have like substantially more and varied effects than that. Like, I just
Exactly.
yeah, I mean, and you got that synergy. You got that like the joy of like putting together different things. You're like, I think these things naturally fit together. They have this keyword and this one has this keyword. They both have this element. Oh shit, those pieces might work. And sure enough, then they just did. Like it wasn't, you didn't have to know some like crazy deep interaction that's hidden beneath the surface. It all worked the way it said it worked, and it when you had the intuition to put it together, it was like, oh, you were rewarded for that. That's great. Like
Exactly. It was so refreshing to
Like
like,
I'm sure you're in the same boat. Like I've never
yeah,
looked at any content for how to make my characters in Suicide Squad. Like I could at any point. Like I've not watched a single
same,
build
yeah,
guide video
not at all.
because from top to bottom it let me do all of it easily. Like I was able to figure it out
Yeah,
all on my
yeah.
own, and I constantly feel rewarded for it. And
Like it's
yeah.
one of those things that you don't really know that you were missing out on until you experience it. Like
Hmm.
the level of like
The number of
esotericism in like other looters
yeah, like
is
the no,
it's so
it's
normal, it's so baseline that like you don't even like question it, where
yeah.
it's like, oh, you like look up a Twitter post and well, if you put this piece together and this piece together, they interact weirdly in the damage formula, so it like multiplies your damage by like 1,000,000 or something.
Yeah,
Like,
like, and
and
there were
that
some
type of
things
thing is
like
not
there were
in.
some things like that that like were scaling weird that were too strong. Like we did have like the IV two
Oh yeah,
piece
and that was
bonus.
like bugs. Like
Yeah,
that was like shit of bugs.
and whereas this, it's like everything that I think that was the big thing is things that you thought would work would. Like if you had an idea for
Yeah,
something and you
yeah,
tried it and you felt really clever for the idea, you didn't go and try it and found out that for some weird reason that interaction wasn't what you thought. No, like you had a cool idea
exactly.
and chances are you cracked the code right then and there. Having the idea was it. Like there wasn't some rule limiting you from making that thing work as long as you understood what you were reading. Like it's just God,
Exactly.
it's
And
so
it
good. Like
was,
I'm gonna miss it so
yeah,
much because it's just
yeah.
like it's just so satisfying. It was so fun to put together builds and just like absolutely annihilate things because you like I remember there were times where I'd be like, man, my build's not doing enough damage. I'm missing something. I'm missing one thing. And then I'd be like, oh, this is the effect on the enemies, or this is the effect I'm not activating or like maximizing on my character. And I'd like swap one piece on that would trigger the effect I needed or something. And now the whole build came to life. It's just like the engine turned on and it worked. And I was like, fuck yeah. Like,
Like the tier system that they've done with this, I think they've like,
oh
it's not
yeah.
something that's gonna be praised about this game because people don't play
It's
games,
yeah, so
but
they didn't. No one that
it's
actually knows played the. Yeah,
yeah, like the
that's why
seasonal
we're talking
model
about
that
it.
they had for this, exactly,
So
exactly.
good, so good. The master gear, the
It's
corrupted gear. Like if they were able to flesh,
literally perfect.
literally, like I know that's why I was so excited for it because it was like, oh, they locked in the way to do gear progression, and all we need now is the one thing that they've tied the corrupted stuff to, the boss fight. We need that to be more repeatable in a more exciting way, and we needed like them to just keep up the variety
Hmm.
on the grind for missions. Like but the
Yeah,
actual
yeah,
progression system, the thing that all of these fucking games struggle with getting right, was just locked in. It was just good. It was you have every season you get new gear. All the gear from last season still works, still relevant. There's a little bonus on all the stuff from this season to encourage you to use it. But if there's something you discover that works really crazy well from a previous season, slap it on there and it works. Like
exactly.
and the
All
way they
previous gear is still relevant.
and the loot chase too was so smart. Like I mean, attaching the and they figured it out quickly.
Yeah.
We didn't have the corrupted stuff at the start. And then bam, like season two, they now have a whole new set type of gear attached to a different activity and with substantial modifiers, and it's like chase pieces. Like that was a huge turning point for me.
Exactly.
Was like I was kind of like, are they going to be able to keep me playing? Because right now I'm collecting all the master gear kind of quickly, and you know I'm kind of running out of my stuff to do because I'm pretty much at the end, other than just going to the leaderboard. And then immediately next season, they're like, bam, here's all your chase stuff. We added 5 levels of mastery for you to chase. We added corrupted pieces for you to chase. Have fun. You can chase forever now. I'm like, thank you. Like they did the thing
Yeah.
perfectly, and like they'll never get the credit for it except for people like us. Like
Like they'll say, critics will say that this is like creatively bankrupt,
oh, that's the oh when people talk about like
quote
when what was
unquote.
it that Yahtzee said in the fucking Ramblematic video? He said it was he said what Rocksteady were you or weaponizing uh they were weaponizing what do you call it not enforced weaponized incompetence like
Weaponized in confidence.
yeah like the idea that they were they basically made the game like oh they did this thing poorly so that they could go back to making single player games like
Oh,
yeah
that
like that
is,
and it's just like bro you are literally talking out your ass like I'm sorry that you only know how to push forward on the stick and pull the trigger, but this game gives you a lot of other stuff you can do. Like,
yeah, I mean, I like, I the the way that they like integrated the movement and the combat like
So
is something
good.
we won't see in a looter.
Your
In
ultimate
my
attack is
opinion.
a movement ability. Like think about that. Like your ultimate
Yeah,
attack isn't called
yeah,
ultimate attack, it's called traversal attack.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
that right there, that's the game in a nutshell. You have an ultimate ability. It's called the traversal attack. Like
yeah, yeah.
that's man, I'm sad again. I'm sad again. I'm gonna miss this fucking game. I was
And
a
it's
truther. Like I said earlier, I don't know how people live with it because I was so confident that I was going to be right about this, that they were going to be able to turn it around, or that people were going to let it have a second wind. And I'm wrong. I'm just dead
yeah,
wrong.
yeah.
And I don't know how all the grifters out there live with being confidently wrong all day, every day, because holy shit, does being confidently wrong suck. Like, it really, this is one of the first, I have not been confidently wrong about something very many times in my life. Like, I tend to hedge my bets. I tend to err on the side of caution and not speak super confidently unless it's basically confirmed. Right? This is one of the few times I was like, no, I'm going to trust my gut on this. And my gut was just like, fuck you.
Well, I
I'm
could
like,
be
Well, I've
wrong.
had plenty of
okay,
experience.
KG's the strongest soldier. He suffered through every dead game.
It
Is
gets
this that's what Wise Pilled is? You just play enough games, you realize games are good, and then you realize that because most games are good, a ton of great games fail all the time.
yeah, that's really what it
Is that
is.
is that what get
That's
it?
your curse to bear.
I hate this. This is. Can I go back to being ignorant? That was
Enjoy
ignorance is
enlightenment.
bliss.
It is. When are we hopping on Mar Rivals, bro? Like
Hey, perfect. That's a perfect segue because that's unless Freezy has more to add about Suicide Squad. That's our next talking point.
yeah.
I
Speaking of
mean,
rivals,
As a
I mean,
comic fan, give me your perspective. You're the comic fan. Say some words about, I don't know, the
um,
story or some how you felt about things, good and bad. I
um,
don't care. Just
I was
either
gonna bring
way.
it up at some point, but I kind of forgot when I was doing my whole like Kubrick staring to the camera because I'm fucking tired.
Kubrick's
But
there.
like yeah, when you rewatch the footage, you're gonna see I'm fucking staring into the camera. But um,
It's good. The audience will
the
be
it's an
engaged.
story.
artistic choice.
You know how we like we clocked the whole like clone thing when the game fucking came out because one, it was leaked, like it was data mined, and two,
Yeah,
It was
it's just in the
obvious.
text of the story.
Yeah.
yeah.
I saw people on Twitter saying it's a cop out ending and that they're doing this shit. Yeah, I knew you were gonna do that, but yeah,
If I was a cartoon
regardless of how
character, the
you feel
smoke
with
would be
like the
coming out of
general
my ears
plot,
right now. Oh.
regardless of how you feel of the general like plot or the plot structure or the characterization, calling it a cop out ending is just like factually wrong.
That's like no,
Like
they laid all the they
Literally.
laid all the story beats out to hint the plot twist to you.
I
Like
read something that like internally at Rocksteady they were like so dead set on not spelling it out, which makes it even more concerning based on how spelled out it was in the game.
but that's the thing is like it was so spelled out and it still wasn't enough. Like it was spelled out enough that it was a hint that we thought was compelling, but if you weren't paying attention, you just didn't know. You like that's a good
It
twist.
was
It's
so
just
spelled out. It was so spelled out. They faulted Rocksteady for not knowing the characters well enough. Like with the
yeah,
Green Lantern ring
bro.
Yeah,
That
whole thing.
I remember.
I didn't know
They
anything about that.
faulted Rocksteady for that.
I didn't know anything about that at all. I didn't know any of that stuff. I didn't know any of the
I didn't either.
reasons.
I didn't either
The
until I
only
saw a post
hint,
about it.
the only yeah, same. The only hint I had that there was that it was fake was a the Superman thing was like the Superman thing was kind of supposed to be your
He stabs
driving.
him in the heart with kryptonite.
Yeah, like that was supposed to be every
Yeah.
comic right? Like as a comic fan, is that not supposed to be every comic fan's red flag that that's not Superman?
Dude,
Either that's
Superman,
not
like shit
that
himself if he even smells kryptonite.
like that's either not kryptonite or that's not Superman. Like it's one or the other, right? Like
Yeah.
It's
yeah,
just
so
the
like
kryptonite from the Batcave.
like
Or
that's
from
what drove it home for
whatever
me.
how it goes.
Like that's what drove it home for me was literally just saying like, oh yeah, like something's up. Like they explicitly showed you like, and it would make sense too that like Wonder Woman's sacrifice was for this moment to essentially it was a sacrifice, but it was also what was the point of the sacrifice? Honestly, to give the audience the last hint. That like that was the point of her sacrifice was to indicate to the audience like from a writer's perspective that's what it was. It was okay, here's the final big ass clue. Please, like this is the biggest we're going to go without just telling you because we don't want to ruin it. Do you notice? like we'll zoom in as she slowly inserts the entire crystal of kryptonite into his heart, and then he just goes, I'm fine.
And then she says, that should have killed him.
Yeah, like
That
she's
should have
yeah,
killed
and in shock, like she knows it's kryptonite. The audience is supposed to know, like it was one of those things where the only way to read the story the way people did was by not engaging with it in any good faith at all. It was going into it ready to hate it and
Exactly.
looking for things to hate and not actually paying attention or engaging with the story other than to find things you thought were wrong. Like you have to be, and on the flip side, here's the thing, right? You're never going to imagine something good about a game or really any piece of media, I don't think. Like I feel like most of the time, if you think something in a piece of media is good, more often than not, it was probably intentionally good. Now, I'm sure there are lots of cases of little things that we like that the artist is like, oh, I didn't mean to do that, but I'm glad you liked it, but generally speaking with bigger stuff, right? If you're looking for something good, you're not going to just fabricate it, right? You'll find it. You don't need to make it up. The flip side is with bad stuff, right? There is always an infinite number of bad things to quote unquote find, right? There's not you can say anything is filled with flaws and be technically correct because things are imperfect, right? So it's such a cop out for people to go for like to attack the things in that way. Like people will say, well, you're just looking for the good in something as opposed to someone looking for the bad. It's like, yeah, because when you look for the good, it's not going to manifest if it's not there. You will find what is there by looking for it. If you are looking for the bad, you will manifest to the bad. Like that's the difference. You will interpret a thing to be bad because that's easier. Like it's just this whole flawed argument about these people that are like, yeah, well, they went into it, they didn't go into it like generously. And it's like, no, it was literally like to engage with the story of a thing properly, you have to go into it wanting to like it, or at the very least being open to liking it. Now, some great things might be able to push you past that. You might be able to go into something truly phenomenal that you didn't think you'd like and be swayed. But like, that's not a reasonable expectation. A thing can be great because you went into it hoping it would be good. And then you were able to find the things that were good. You didn't have to make anything up. If we go in hoping something's good and we don't find anything we like, then there's room to talk about the things that we would have liked to see or the things that are missing from it or that could have been better. But that's not the approach most of these people complaining about this game and the story and all that stuff are going with. They're going in expecting it to be bad. So it's easy to validate that perspective.
And I think
anyway, TED Talk.
I think the story, like a lot of people are right when they say it's like it's tonally inconsistent, or like the
for sure.
It's tonally inconsistent. You could tell it went under multiple rewrites and delays, and it went through the hands of like probably a dozen people or so. But like, I mean, I still thought it was funny. I thought it was decently enough written.
My whole thing was, sorry, I'll let you keep going.
People were talking about like how the characters they're written out of character, and I thought that was like, for at least the League, that's like a deliberate plot point, is it not? Like, so when
it's almost like the clones that aren't the real Justice League are written to be slightly different from the real Justice League.
When Batman starts like evil laughing and shooting people with guns, the thinker inside me is like, wait a minute, Batman doesn't do that. But
like that was another one. It was literally like these people can't even put two and two. Like they were so prepared to believe that Rocksteady was shitting on the legacy of all things DC that
they made.
Yeah, like it was literally like, oh, Batman isn't clearly a clone or being mind controlled or something. We just hate Batman, so now he shoots people with guns and we're gonna kill him by shooting him in the head with a gun. Like, yeah, because that's
fucking Zack Snyder speech bubble.
Yeah,
like Kevin Conroy. Oh man,
that was good, actually. But like, it's just that absurdity of just like, you really think that like that was your hint. Your hint was, hey, we make Batman in their game because we like Batman. We're not gonna suddenly have the actual Kevin Batman.
Conroy,
I would have
Kevin
buy
Conroy
into that.
Signed up for this game, read the script,
and was like, yeah, that's
so. Yeah, just to like be my last project. He didn't know it was going to be his last project, but my last project is going to be these 4 characters completely shitting on the legacy of Arkham Batman or whatever the fuck. Like to like use that man's death to criticize this game or whatever and hold it against them that they didn't know the exact moment and hour that Kevin Conroy would pass away is like one of the most disgusting things that like people have
I
used to like criticize this game that doesn't get talked about enough.
like
Like
that was the thing.
actually like
Oh no, like
some
I
ghoul
get
shit.
that was because okay, so like after we again, like I always try to keep things, like especially with professional people, I try to keep things like civil and stuff. And I've joked that the one
Mhm.
time, like I've joked with Jade and stuff that the one time I like talk shit to someone uh that was at IGN for a review was the Suicide Squad thing because I was so worked up at that point because I was like I'm not even pretend I was seething. I
Yeah.
was like you're
Yeah.
using the legacy of a great man and you're using that to smear a game that you don't like actually like give me your job like like for real like and yeah I get that there's an extremist to that but it's just like dude like the worst part is right is that
Have
like
some decency, you know?
we would have had even like there's a guarantee we would have had more. I guarantee you there are lines recorded for Batman by him that we would have gotten to hear if we got more of the game because
Absolutely. He
It
even
because we
sounds
worked
like
never
on
he
it
was
heard
for a
them.
having
minute.
so much fun
Like
when he
Miller
played the
had leaks of
character.
stuff like that. Like we saw that there were leaks that there were recorded lines for Batman that didn't play because it clearly didn't get to that content. Like they clearly had this wrap up at the end.
Yeah.
I imagine even in this episode that we just played, again, Batman comes back at the very end. I'm sure he was supposed to come back in a bigger fashion and have lines and you
I'm
like
Yeah, with like a
I'm sure
3D
we were
cutscene.
supposed to get even like a 3D cutscene.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
all that where it's just like man like and then you play the game and what's the final thing that happens as the credits roll in the story. Thank you, Kevin. I like that.
Yeah.
I
Like
almost cried, and then I almost cried out of anger. Like I was so mad at people when I saw
yeah.
that. I was just like, be a human. Like touch grass, get
It's
a
too much to
life.
ask for some of these people.
Like
It's too much to ask. It really is.
yeah,
To be a human and not an antisocial like parrot
leper.
for whatever their favorite rage bait YouTuber says is the
Yeah,
end of gaming.
and again, it was my biggest point of discontentment. I think with Suicide Squad at the end of the day was the point I kept making in both the videos was that I get it. Content creators are content creators. They're going to say what they say. But like, I expected better from the people that like pride themselves on being real professionals. Like,
I
that's
did.
where that I didn't. Okay, I didn't expect better, but I have a higher standard. I have a higher standard of
Right, right.
myself than that, and right now they get paid. So,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. Exactly.
like that's the difference for me. Is it's just like, dude, like really, like I to me it was just so grossly unprofessional. Like I can't imagine working for an actual outlet and writing that article about Kevin Conroy and Suicide Squad and having my job. Like on a like I know that sounds crazy. Like I'm like that's a reprimand,
No,
that's a
for real,
write
yeah.
up. Like that's a take this story down and we'll give you another one in a few months, Bucko.
Like
It's
imagine
just
with
so
within the
unprofessional.
context of
Like
like yeah,
You're
it's like a
backing
like
out
imagine
tabloid.
writing that.
It's like a tabloid. It's like no
Yeah,
professional outlet would run a story like that about an actor. Like
exactly.
but a voice actor in a video game, like it just goes to show like that even within our own industry, like a lot of games media stuff still is okay with the idea that it's just video games. Because shit, I mean, how are we
Yeah,
supposed to convince
exactly.
other people it's not just video games when the people that write for major outlets treat it like it's just video games? Like
Like we
that
we
just
we
that
don't
drove me off the
have
wall.
like no standards
Uh,
for the articles that they
so
write.
so okay, I don't want to drag this out too long because we've already gone on for Suicide Squad for a bit. So I guess final statement for me is, and you guys can say something too. But my final statement is, I love the game, great game. Thank you, Rocksteady. You did a really good job. The haters are wrong. I'll die on that hill that they were fucking wrong, and hopefully we get something cool like it again someday. So that's it for me.
My final statement? It's fine. I've said it the whole time. It's fine. I'm not like number one fan like these two are fighting for, but I guess I'm number four since
Yeah,
like
okay.
there's
Bree-
only
Breeze
people
is
who played the game were the four of us.
Breeze has always been the reasonable person who's like not as like is not gassing enough like we are, but Breeze is like, okay, like even if you don't love like Breeze is the person who's like, if you don't love this thing, it's still not bad. Like
Like
you don't have to
Rocksteady are still technical like masters of their craft. Like
yeah, like the
Metropolis is fucking fantastic. The game looks amazing. It
It was
runs
48
pretty
gigs at
well.
launch, which was crazy.
Yeah.
It would have run. It runs pretty. That was the one thing. Like if
It would have run pretty well if they didn't break that one time.
yeah, yeah, couldn't play for like a month. Okay, KG.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't know.
I'll quote one of the top Reddit
shit.
posts from our Suicide Squad Gaming. I just got this game on PlayStation Plus and I'm loving it. I don't understand the hate. Thoughts?
I thought you were about to take the piss
Like
and
clockwork.
I
Like
thought you were
clockwork.
I thought you were about to take the piss and read out the post about the grenade that damages your shield.
I should have. I should have.
Because KG
I should have.
just for some context,
man.
KG's told me multiple, like KG will sometimes check the subreddit and basically like weekly, like on repeat, there's literally like a person being like, hey, just got the game, having fun, but like why is my shield disappearing all the time?
Yes.
And
yes,
without
yes.
fail, and they had literally just have to like repost or repin the same comment. There's a grenade. There's a grenade that drains while you're when you throw it. Right? Is it when you throw it or when you're holding it?
When you hold it, you hold one.
Oh, yeah,
only
you
hold
hold-
one of those grenades.
Yeah, and it drains
But
you
when you have
constantly.
one, it drains constantly.
Because then once your shield gets drained, it does like a buttload of damage, I think.
Oh no, it just does a bunch of damage, but
But it has a
literally called
drawback.
hot potato. Like you're supposed to throw them when you get them, so you don't get shield drained.
Yeah,
but you know,
and
it's such a
comes up
like
every
a weekly
week.
meme, where it's like, and sometimes people like fight in the comments where it's like, did you check your inventory? And they're like, yeah, I checked my inventory. I've taken off all items, and it's still draining my shield. And it's like, okay.
Check your grenade.
The lie detector, the polygraph says that was a lie. You responded a little too quick.
I know, like I'm
yeah,
not ready for the videos in 5 years that get 10 times the views of anything I've ever made.
I played Suicide Squad in 2025.
Or no, it's gonna be literally like we're gonna get a video in like 2020 this year. No, this year or next.
You forgot about.
No, like it's gonna be this year or next year.
You never played.
We're gonna start seeing videos this year or next year that like, hey, I played Suicide Squad now, and it's like better than people think, or it was. I don't get why I got all the hate. Like, there's gonna be those videos like a Suicide Squad retrospective that are gonna happen over the next few. And the thing is the worst part of that is they've enabled it, which I think is good because media preservation. But now that there's an offline mode, they've enabled people to play and experience the entirety of the game as it's supposed to be forever, which is great. But like we're definitely gonna get those videos now because it's not gonna be like Avengers where you hop in and like the live service element of it is like it's dead. Like, you know, you'll still have the loot stuff and all that.
You know, it's funny. Like
you can still buy the game and play it.
Exactly. You know, not delisted or anything. The two of my favorite games, one of which got delisted last year. Two of my favorite games from last year both have these super consumer-friendly business models trashed endlessly online.
Oh my god,
yeah, shut down within a year.
I don't want to rant about it, but that's the other thing. The business model
launching with the Gooner skins,
$20 Gooner skins,
$20 Gooner skins, and they're eating it up. I'm going Joker.
I know everybody talks about every time
I'm going Earth 2
or every time a battle pass every time we find out a battle pass doesn't expire, guys, oh my god, base devs, battle pass doesn't expire. It's just like Halo Infinite. I'm like, fuck you.
Yeah. Fucking Chief Collection's been doing that forever.
I'm like, that's like no, but I'm like Suicide Squad. I was like, this game that y'all said was a cash grab. It lets you earn enough currency for every battle pass in every battle pass, and none of the battle passes expire. So you buy one battle pass and complete it. If you buy one and work to complete them all, you will never buy a battle pass.
If you get the deluxe edition, you never have to buy one.
Literally, never have to buy one.
And the deluxe edition is fucking $2.
Yeah, like you never had. Yeah, like if you had the deluxe edition of the game and got that initial first battle pass, like, you never needed to buy it.
Like $100 for the fucking game. You get it for
$2 now.
You know what? I will take it because that is what I got my money's worth. I have like 500 hours in that game.
Barring rest mode, which says I have 663, which is not the case. Like maybe 400 or something hours.
Yeah, like we're like
in
more
Suicide Squad.
I loved it. Man.
I got my money's worth. 110%.
Rest in peace, Suicide Squad. You're in a great game. All right, let's talk about
now for Suicide Squad.
Let's obviously make our. I don't have anything to say about this in a smooth way. So segue. Da 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 da. Marvel
You segment
Rivals.
We're already talking
Slopwatch,
about. We're already kind of talking about Rivals. That's the segue.
Yeah, yeah.
Come on,
On
get
to-
better at
That's
this.
true. That's
we,
true.
yeah,
That's
we
true. That's true.
already mentioned Rivals. So on to Rivals. Other superhero game. This one is taking the world by storm. Apparently,
It's also fine.
it's
All these games are fucking sick.
okay. So let's start with. So Breezy says it's fine. Breezy has the most playtime. Breezy has the platinum trophy. It's fine. You like it. You like it.
Platinum
Like you could say you
Rivals.
like it.
I do like it. Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Breezy
fine.
likes it. I I'm trying to think how I want to say
You better
this.
save it for that video if you're making it.
Yeah,
though.
Yeah, like I'm
save
trying
it
to
for the video.
I don't want to have a whole diatribe here.
I can take the reins on this one.
Marvel Rivals is I'll put it simply. I think it's absolutely fine, but like I'm gonna quote KG here. It's slop,
Oh,
but
really?
slop doesn't have to be bad. Take it away, KG.
Yeah. As the person here with the least amount of hours in Marvel Rivals, I think I'm qualified to give the hottest takes on this game.
give your hot takes because like I want to give the hot takes, but I'm also like
He's saving them. He's saving them.
I'm saving
Yeah,
them,
you're
but also
charging up. You're charging up your ult.
I'm also just like, man, like I'm kind of tired of getting ratioed. Like I really like. I don't care what they
Such
say.
a
I'm
life.
just like, I just want the dopamine hit of more up arrow than down arrow.
More like than dislike.
Yeah, like I want to convert the
know,
masses.
Yeah. You might be a few years before we're able to release our Marvel Rivals was bad actually video when the
I'll do it next
Gooners
week.
skin
You don't
money
care.
dries up.
By a few years, you mean
That's
like
true.
in a
That's
couple
true.
weeks, or like I say a couple weeks.
Yeah, Bond will
Hopefully.
do it next
Yeah,
week.
and live service time, that's basically like 6 weeks. So like
Oh,
in 6 weeks we'll be able to make our Rivals is actually bad video.
Once the
But
meta gets like hard locked.
exactly. The
Once
true
we enter like a
test.
goats.
I had
once we enter like a
Once we
goats round.
enter
just
goats, it's
before we
over.
say anything more, I had someone stream today while I was playing. I had someone come in the chat. Nice person, but he was talking about it and like was talking about just playing the game and like different like strats and stuff. And like he was talking about like gameplay, like tips or like just like I don't know, just generally like things from like a competitive standpoint, like things you can do to min max to do better, or like tips with Invisible Woman because he's been playing a bunch of Invisible Woman and that's what I was playing.
Oh really?
And yeah, and he hopped in to say something, and he's a nice guy, but like he was talking about some of the competitive stuff, and like this is nothing against him, but I was just sitting there, I was like, man, like why? Like why do you care? Like you can tell this thing is so fundamentally not built for that. Like you can feel it in your bones that this thing is, if you want a competitive experience that you feel is fair, that you feel is like going to make you feel good about your progression, and like you feel like you're on even footing with other people and all this, like you want that true integral competitive experience to improve as a player and see yourself improve, like this ain't it. Like this game doesn't work if you try and make it balanced, like not even a little bit. Like so everything about it that's fun is broken. And I don't mean broken like badly broken, like I mean like it's overpowered. All of the fun things you can do are fun because they're insanely wacky in how busted they can be. Like
Yeah.
I don't get the people who look at that game and I like all the more power to them if they're having fun. Like you like what you like, but like if you're really competitive and you're playing the game, telling yourself, "Well, it's just season 1; it'll get more balanced later."
Sorry
about that. I really don't think so. I hope I'd go so far as to say as I hope not, because what fun I can have in it comes from just being like, well, it is a bit absurd that they let me do this or whatever. Like,
and that's why I think the game is just like I like it. I think it's fine because it's so
It's a
like
party game.
absurdly. It's like a party game. Like
everything
is
it is a
so
party game.
not
Because there are a lot of
balanced. It like balance itself out in a way. Like I don't think there's a few characters I would consider like bad, but like there's not a single character I would consider like bottom of the leaderboard. Like you do not want to play this character ever.
Yeah, no, it's
Like-
because everybody has their own things that like when used right, can be like overpowered. And like I'll give them the one thing I'll give them, because I really do. I think the game is so mid, and like it's the first, like when people talk about games that are made by numbers or made by committee, or like the board members decided what game they're
That's a
making.
game made by committee.
Yeah, like holy
What if we
shit.
made Overwatch with Spider-Man? Like,
Yeah, literally like an
Remember when they
executive.
said that Concord failed because people were tired of live service hero shooters.
No. Now that they've pivoted, Concord failed because it was $40 and because the characters.
It had pronouns. It was
Yeah.
$40.
Yeah, so that's I mean, like they
because
pivot
there
when.
was something to be said there. It's like, yeah, nobody knows who Lennox is, but
Oh yeah, like
you know who fucking Spider-Man is.
oh, like for sure. And again, like I
Oh,
totally
absolutely,
get. I get
you know?
I get some of the non-bigoted arguments about some of the character stuff. Like I get that. Like I don't think it was like perfect, but like just the whole argument that like there's not room in the space or in the market for this type of game. It's like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're right on some. Maybe they're right though, because the flip side is that Concord was far more focused on its balance, on the quality of its gunplay, on the quality of its feedback, on the polish and presentation, like on the
It was trying to have
storytelling.
some competitive integrity versus
Like
action figures.
and it was,
playing
I mean,
action
every single step of that game felt better to play. Like, I mean, it was just a better
Yeah.
playing experience from top to bottom. But like, yeah, like they're going for different things. I think, and that's fine. But it's also like, what if the catch is that like people just like Marvel Rivals? It's like Smash. I mean, you get to pick your favorite guy, and he does some silly shit.
I
That's
mean,
exactly
it's a
why
party
it has
game.
500,000 players.
Yeah, it's a party game.
It's a party game.
Everybody can play it,
PC alone.
and I think the reason they don't need it to be competitive and you don't want them to push for competitive is because it's a
I mean,
game.
they are pushing for competitive, aren't they?
No, not really.
They are in that corporate way
Like
where
the
like every
tournaments?
game with multiplayer is, but like, yeah, like again, that stuff's
But
very
in terms of like balance, they aren't.
yeah, like it's very forced, but the gameplay design doesn't suggest to me any kind of like, for starters, 6v6 teams. It makes it really hard to tell who is the reason that you lost. Because in a 3v3 team, you can look at your scoreboard and know exactly why you won or lost. Right? In a 5v5, it's a little more vague. And 6v6, it's pretty tough. It's about not being able to assign blame. I think that's a big part of it. Right? It also adds to the chaos. And I think the chaos is another part. I think they were trying to detach you from being too attached to winning or losing. Because it's a party game.
I agree.
Right? And I think those are the steps you do. I think you make it so that you have more people.
I think
so
it's partially the reason it had destructible environments. You know, like,
yeah,
is this really
silly.
competitively, viable?
It's not, because in one of the maps, this has happened to me multiple times. There's an overhang that is destructible, and it will fall on the payload, and it will not move the payload forward until like it either respawns or like by an act of God, the payload starts moving again.
See, shit like that. You know,
But,
it's like
yeah,
this is a party game
frequently enough to where it's like that map would be banned 24/7 in competitive.
Yeah, it's like it's that kind of stuff where it's like, and there's so many character kits and abilities that it's like a lot of their abilities are function in a way that just cannot be balanced for competitive play, right? Like we might not. I can't think of any one thing off the top of my head that I could prove is so imbalanced that it just doesn't fucking work. But there are some things that like you can tell that a smart player is going to turn this into something disgusting that would not be viable, right? Like in the sense that like.
Exactly.
Invisible Woman's full-time always invisible, right? Like you can literally touch her and run into her while she's invisible and you can't see her. Like I have a strong feel that's the kind of mechanic that generally the reason you don't see full true invisibility in games is because it's basically impossible to make it properly balanced. Like the closest
like combat readability is such a like thin line between feeling awful and feeling good that most games don't touch invisibility because of this option, or if there is, there's limits set in place like proximity, footstep audio.
Yes, and like Psylocke has the proximity
thing. You break it, like
and she has a lot of that stuff where like she does have limits on it in the sense that like as soon as she attacks out of it, but it's the there's a character who can go full stealth, stand next to you, and also has a knockback that can kill you off ledge. Like you can already imagine.
They do the smart thing where I discovered this the other day completely by accident. I'm sitting there trying to contest the point. I'm like, dude, why the fuck is he not capturing?
She doesn't cap if you're invisible,
and she doesn't cap when she's invisible. And I'm
At
like,
least
they
like
thought about that. Better than Blizzard.
Yeah, like it's that kind of stuff where it's like they've thought about some of it to keep the game like functional, but you can tell that like they kind of stop at the basics. It's like, okay, yeah, that needed to be there just so it's like not
It's like they
absurd.
balance that,
It
but
it's a
like if
game
they
where
even if
it
they forgot that, who would care? You
yeah,
know,
like that's what I
like
mean. Like it's the
it's
kind of game where like if they
yeah,
didn't remember that, I kind of would just laugh and go, yeah, that's Marvel Rivals. Like that's the game I'm
yeah,
playing.
yeah.
Like I'm not surprised, you know?
Like they fully embrace the party game sort of ethos where it's like if everything's unbalanced, nothing's unbalanced, and we'll see how like far that'll take them for
Yeah.
like player retention. Whereas like, is playing action figures 6 months from now? Is that going to be like, are you
I
going to
mean,
come back to
I
Rivals to
think
do that
You,
for?
I think a
you
lot of
underestimate the
people
power of superhero-shaped action figures.
no, I think a lot of
I
people will.
maybe I am, maybe I am.
No, I
And
think
for
this
like the
is like
casual audience, maybe like this is what they were looking for is, action figures.
100%.
Overwatch was
Marvel
super
Rivals
popular, but
isn't
it
going
also was a new
anywhere
IP.
ever. Like I think Marvel Rivals is a mainstay now. Like we will be talking about Marvel
We'll
Rivals the way
see
we
for sure.
like unless they do something truly egregious to really bomb the quality and popularity of the game based on how the casual player engages, the only thing that they could do to mess it up would be to like really mess with like the market, like the shop being exceptionally greedy, or like the hero releases suddenly not being free, something like that. Um
They said they're gonna do 2 heroes every season starting next season. Like this
like
season
yeah,
they did
Oh yeah,
4
I
because
saw
it's a
that
yeah, like
article
prequel,
and like and
and
again
then
if they
promising a new
every other
hero
season's gonna
every
be
45
2,
days.
yeah, if
every
they can
45 days.
yeah, like
Yeah.
if they stop delivering, like if they can deliver that, I will be talking about Marvel Rivals in 5 years. Uh,
Oh,
uh
100%. Yeah.
like
Like
if
And hell,
be,
it's a mainstay simply for the fact that it is 12 a.m. Eastern time, and there's currently 400,000 people playing on Steam still. Like
yeah, and that's not on any of the
this shit
consoles.
isn't leaving.
Yeah, no, and it's one of those things where it's like it's taken Overwatch's place. Overwatch is going to slowly bleed to death over the next however long, but
oh,
it's
they twisted the
Overwatch.
knife,
It's
like
Overwatch, and then it's got 10x the popularity because of the IP.
exactly.
Like so, it's definitely one of those games going to be around for a long time. So it's like I don't want to dig my
And
foot in and say that it's bad because I think that like it's going to be around so long. God knows what it'll look like in half a decade. But like
Who knows?
I mean, I'm
where it is
gonna
right now, it feels to me like a mobile game that was just a little too ambitious for mobile hardware. So that's why it's on consoles and PC right now.
Because it's
Like,
on Unreal 5.
yeah, like it really feels like it was designed with the ethos of a mobile game from the ground up. It feels kind of the
when
feedback
I
feels
see
like
the
it's missing.
ads on my TikTok and YouTube,
Yeah,
like if I didn't play the game, I would have thought this was a mobile game, like
yeah.
110%. Like,
Because it's got that
And
oh,
art
they
style.
made
it has a style that very much
yeah,
seems like it's meant to be like you can turn the resolution way the fuck down so you can play it on a toaster and eventually an Android phone.
Was it's really
yeah,
funny because
yeah.
the game has shockingly like high settings on PC for
Oh
what you would
yeah.
think the game needs.
Well shit, it's also got built-in ray tracing because is that an Unreal
Well, I
5
think
thing?
now you can disable it. I think they added like a true potato setting where you
Oh,
can like
true,
disable fucking
You're on a
you
10
can just
series
disable
card.
like
Yeah.
global lumens. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're on a 1080 Ti still because you're some fucking diehard PC gamer who's convinced
Hey,
that's the
dude, my
best.
coworker has a 1070 Ti. Don't talk shit.
No, the 1080 Ti was like the goat though. Like that thing
1080
literally
Ti is the fucking go. It's still like pretty decent. Like it's obviously not optimized for it anymore, but like pure computing power at 1080p, it's not that bad.
Oh yeah, that shit was so good for so long. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, I don't know. My thoughts on the game are just it's fine, but it really feels like the best way to explain it to me is a premium mobile game. Like, and yeah, it doesn't feel like it's made for like core gamers who like seek that satisfaction of like
I'm just
nothing
called
I
slop.
there's no there's no button I press in that game that I go, damn, that felt good. I've never said that while playing Marvel Rivals. Not once.
I mean, I agree. I mean,
I've had games where I had 40 plus
maybe,
kills and I'm just like, okay. Get MVP. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Like nothing
Maybe
I
it's
feel
just
nothing.
me, but it's you play enough of these type of games. You play enough shooters, hero shooters.
You get
Maybe
taste.
yeah, you get taste. You find you engage with it a little bit deeper. You find what actually is satisfying and whatnot. And
It's like
comparing an
when I press
elimination.
this button and when this attack hits, I get the little dopamine rush of, oh, that felt good to hit. It's like, oh, that's what's
Yeah,
missing
like
from
you're
this game. That's why I
comparing an
don't smile.
elimination.
I literally don't. I recorded 3.5 hours today.
That's
I
hilarious.
maybe smiled twice while playing the game, and I'm normally playing games like this. Like,
Well, I cannot see that.
yeah,
but
whatever.
I'm gonna
See.
assume you're
Chat
He had
see.
a
the
big old
biggest.
grin. He had a big
Yeah,
old grin.
I'm normally smiling. Like, I'm normally very like something funny happens, I laugh. Like that game gets a chuckle out of me when some dumb
Me
bullshit
too.
happens.
I normally laugh when something funny happens.
Not in Marvel Rivals, you don't. And
Clearly,
they had one line that made me chuckle today. Oh, what was it? Because most of the lines are so cringe. Bro, Venom hits on Scarlet Witch. That made me uncomfortable. He called her attractive. That was like
everyone hits on everyone in that game.
The game with $20 Gooner skins has horny dialogue.
Yeah, well, it also has a 14-year-old in a skin tight suit. So, you know what the
Well, I mean, it is also.
Nope, they aged her up. I remember somebody got mad at that on Twitter. They
No,
aged her up.
Did they?
No way.
Apparently, I have no clue how old she is. I think she's like 20 something in the game, but I'm not.
They didn't want to design a female character model because they knew they couldn't goon it.
That's true.
They didn't want to.
I mean, it would make sense. Why the hell would you put a child in a game like this, man?
Well, now it makes sense. I just like it'd be more interesting if they could make her just look appropriate and make her like, you know, canonically the right age. But like, their options were age her up or completely change our entire game's art style because we don't know how to make characters that look like Goon Paints.
They showed the quarterly projections of whether or not they age up Penny Parker with the inclusion of Gooner skins. They were like,
oh my
nope,
god.
Nope.
Oh my god.
Age her up. We need that.
Quarterly projections for pedophilia is kind of wild.
I mean,
well, you know, this is Netties we're talking about here.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Throw that somewhere in there.
Allegedly.
My lawyer says we don't support this claim.
Allegedly.
We have lawyers.
I think, yeah, I get the gist of it though. Like, yeah, appealing to the bottom barrel.
I just
many such cases.
I think with Marvel Rivals, it just has core fundamental flaws and things missing from its game design that, like, for me, a person that's like played a bunch of hero shooters that like aren't even like playable now. Like I was an OG TF2 player back in the day. Like I know like what works in this genre. Yeah, poor enough for me, to be honest with you. But like, I know what's good game design. I know like
at a certain point,
feedback feels
like at a certain point, it's just trust me. It's like trust me, I know better because I've played them all. Like I don't know how else to tell you. I've played them all, and this one doesn't do it as well as some of the others. Like what else can I say?
Mean, like you'd set up like clips of getting an elimination of Marvel Rivals to like Overwatch or like TF2 or even Concord.
Game needs some screen shake.
Paladins, you know, and it's like I feel nothing if the kill feed was completely blurred out on the screen. I couldn't tell if I got an elimination or not without the red hit marker. Whereas
so
like in
real.
Overwatch, they got the super
it also
iconic.
Doesn't help that you don't know when you're dying. So
that's the worst part.
That too.
Like it's weird because like that's the thing. I have to give context here. You do know. Like people will be like, well, you don't know. It's like it makes it. You take hit marker sounds, you know, but it's missing whatever
turns red. But like
you're missing whatever
turns red. You're dead.
You're missing whatever
at critical health.
But you're missing whatever feedback sounds or displays or. Because I haven't identified what it is. There is some part of the feedback when you're taking damage that is missing because I know I'm taking damage. I hear the hit marker sounds, and yet I constantly feel like I had no idea I was dying. And it's like, so there's clearly some element of feedback that other games are including somewhere in that process that I just haven't identified that is completely missing because like it has the base components.
It is like the lack of like a screen flinch or a screen shake.
Yeah, the game does have no shake. That's why the game. Oh my god. That's the thing that makes it feel like a fucking mobile game. That's what it is. No, like that's it because that makes so much more sense now. Yeah,
ironically,
because
your character does like he does do like a little like I know KG can't see, but they do like a little lean backwards when they get hit. But
Oh, I know
like,
they do a hip flinch. I've seen it. Yeah.
yeah, they do like a hit flinch, but like, it really doesn't like. Honestly, it just
It's
feels like you're
just
just walking and your character's just moving because there's like stuff in the way.
Yeah. Oh, and I've also, I noticed that the way the whole thing feels when you're
They just
getting
put
hit.
big fucking lightning bolts on the screen saying you're gonna die. And it's like really loud.
Yeah, it's really strange how it just doesn't feel like that feedback's there. It's funny because I was talking to Lemon about it, like, and there was a video about an indie dev who was like working on a game, and he had a video about like why he restarted development or something, and he went through the
Talking
process
about
of show.
garbage?
No, I can't remember what it was called. I'll find it for you. But he was just he was showing this little like thing about how he was putting together a weapon for this little 2D game, right? 2D little pixel sprite art stuff. And it looked cool and stuff, but he was showing as he was the process of building this little weapon and then putting it in the game and then showing it work, right? Like he literally he had the weapon finished, he clicks he shoots it and he shoots and you go, oh. And like it's missing something, right? Like it's like it doesn't have any oomph.
yeah.
And he's like it's missing oomph. And literally the oomph was he added screen shake. And then he literally he adds a screen shake and you're like, "Oh, now it feels right." Like it's literally the difference of sometimes it's as simple as there needs to be a response that feels correct for this like the type of thing that's happening on the screen. If you're firing a weapon that has a kick to it, I expect screen shake. Like if you're trying to if it goes like I expect the
Like
I don't I just you know what I mean? Like it's one of those
Punisher
things.
shotgun to like
He has a shotgun.
Roadhog.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he
he has
has a
he has
secondary shotgun.
he
I
has
wouldn't have
AR and a
known
shotgun.
because like I saw him firing the other like and see Overwatch is not even a good example of this because if anyone who's played like if you play the finals or you play Call of Duty or you go play Battlefield like whatever if you play a normal first person shooter and you go play Soldier 76 you'll be like is he shooting paper like it doesn't feel like he's firing projectiles like if they feel weightless and those
Oh yeah,
feel
I just want to give
compare
examples from
no
like
no 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 hear me out
other hero shooters. But yeah,
but compared to but Soldier 76 compared to Marvel Rivals characters feels like he's firing a bolter from Space Marine 2 like
yeah, it feels like you're playing Battlefield. You
like
know,
it
like
yeah he feels like that's how much less feedback and substance there is in like the animations when there's no satisfaction like that's what's missing I'm missing the tingle in my brain when I kill someone with a move that I went oh that felt good like I felt like just
yeah,
it feels good it's
yeah.
like that little stimmy part of your thing that goes like when you get an elimination in Overwatch like and all the right sounds and effects happen that you just go oh that felt good like and I don't
Like I
even like
said this
Overwatch
from
like
yeah, like this is not like a
yeah,
glazing of Overwatch or
let's
whatever.
clear this up.
This
I
is
don't
We're
think
not
anybody
even an
here.
Overwatch support group.
Yeah, I don't think
If
anybody
you're someone
here.
to Overwatch in modern day, like we kind of.
Yeah, I don't think anybody here. Oh, KG just.
Oh shit!
I think KG hit a. I think KG hit a button. We'll give him a
Or put
minute.
his PlayStation into rest mode.
I actually wonder what happened. There we go. He's back.
There you go. He's back.
Blizzard slander detected. I got kicked
yeah.
The
for
CCP
going.
got your
Yeah,
ass.
yeah. I
Yeah.
shouldn't have downloaded Red Note. That was on me.
Oh.
But yeah, not a
Yeah.
Blizzard glazing.
Yeah, no,
Overwatch glazing
no one here. I don't
segment.
think any of us here actually play Overwatch. Like, but we've all played Overwatch. Like, here's an example of like another point of feedback. Go play Overwatch 2. Go grapple and then swing and slam onto the ground with Hammond. He does the little swing ground slam with his little wrecking ball. Okay, go do the same fucking thing with Venom, and you will cry. You will be like, oh, like it all makes sense now. Like Venom has a grapple into a slam. It is the most jank, like half baked feeling. Like it feels like first of all, it feels like most of the maps were not designed in any way to account for how he moves or the trajectory of like the way he swings.
Spider-Man.
Like the way he swings through
Or
like,
Spider-Man, yeah.
Like you'll swing and like because they'd rather you go forward than get caught up on the geometry, he will swing through a doorway even though like the tether's behind him now. Like he'll swing through a doorway where the tether should be clipping straight through the wall because like there's no rhyme or reason to it. Like it can't like it's just not designed to account for the fact that he has this crazy high swing and he swings really deep too. Like he launches forward towards the grapple point and like almost like a grappling hook, but then like a half second later after launching, he then dives into a swing. It's this really, the whole thing just feels really wonky. Like it works, it looks cool, but it feels awful. Doing it on in Overwatch on Hammond is like still one of like my favorite. Like it makes me wish that game was good because I love how that feels. Like when you roll around on him and you swing off a corner and slam, you feel the momentum of the swing, you feel the weight of the slam coming down. Like it all feels right in a way that like, yeah, just it's not even comparable.
Yeah, it's
Anyway.
just I've played every aspect of this game in a better game, but
And I don't
because
even like
it's
that better
Marvel,
game.
and I don't even like that better game, but because it's Marvel, it's the most played game on in the world right now or whatever. Like I
It's yeah,
just
it's a hot shit.
I said this like even in the beta, I was trying to give them the benefit of the doubt, like
Same.
maybe they'll clean this all up
And
and
to be fair, it
launch.
it improved a lot between my
And
experience in alpha and my experience with the live launch. Like the feedback issues I'm talking about now were so much worse back then that like I was like, this is actually the like Garbo. Like I hope this is like just early, and it was like they've
yeah,
improved it.
yeah.
So I do want to give them a little bit of credit in that they could make it
No,
better.
not to say
A
they didn't
lot
improve it
a lot
from
of the stuff
beta to
I'm
launch.
talking about they could improve because the history of their updates has shown that at least at one point they thought it was an issue and they might still think it's an issue. So I'll give them that credit. But by all indications, I'm getting the vibe that since all the normies are fine with it, like I don't think it's going to get
And
improved
this is not
either.
an issue that is losing them customers.
Which is
It's
crazy to
simply
me.
not.
Like it's so crazy that
It's actually
players pick
gaining them so
it.
many.
It's crazy to me that players pick up a game and they pull the trigger and they can't tell whether or not that felt good. Like that's
Well,
one of those first
when
things.
they
It's like
pick
when
up
you,
the controller and it does a little vibration when you press the R2 and the trigger is like a little bit
that's
resistant,
I
then
swear to
that's all the
God. I
feedback that they
swear to
need
God.
for
I
it to
swear.
be a good
It's because
gunshot,
we haven't had a Gears of War game in I don't know how long. So we lost where games started to feel like fucking
Yeah, like
bad.
you're
Like
like
from a feedback perspective.
the crazy thing to me is how could you play Space Marine 2 and then play like if you've played Space Marine 2
Hmm.
and you've ever played like I don't know anyone like that should make it apparent. If you're a casual gamer who doesn't know anything that we're talking about, but you play Space Marine 2 and then you play Marvel Rivals and you don't understand that the former just feels better in every way. I don't know. We live in a different universe or in different timelines, friends.
I think it's just
Like that game.
gotta
I
come to.
don't play a ton of that game, but goddamn, does that game have feedback? Holy sh! That game has feedback so good that it tricks me into liking the game more than I really do because it's just like, oh, that felt so good. I don't want to do it
Oh,
for another
dude,
hour, but oh my
compare.
god, that felt so
It
good.
was.
When you're like when you're using like a chainsaw on that little on the little bug guy, like
Oh,
you're
even my
feeling
knife.
bad.
Like I played like the dude with the knife and the like he
Yeah,
grapples to an enemy,
or
right?
like the
And when
parry.
he does a grapple
Yeah.
dive kick, and it feels like a freight train slamming into the enemy. Like
It feels like
Oh,
Batman doing like
and
there's like a
big kick into
concussive blast. Like there's like a concussive blast on the bottom of his feet for fuck's sake. Like you,
yeah,
boom.
yeah.
Like, it's so good.
And coming from Space Marine 2 to Darktide, it was like it made it look like Marvel Rivals in terms of feedback, like
Is
in
there
terms
really
of
that
melee feedback.
is because I played
It
Darktide
is
a
the
while
gold
ago.
standard
Is it that much
for
better?
first
Okay,
person.
you've sold me.
It's
I'll
the
have
gold
it on
standard.
Friday. You've sold me.
Like
Well,
comparing
because
the bolter from Darktide to Space Marine, it's like a Nerf gun.
I
Like
remember it
it
felt
blew my
good.
mind.
I remember I liked how that game felt. I just remember, like, I didn't like. I just really like how Space Marine feels. Like in my mind, I'm thinking, well, Space Marine was a big step up for most of the things I've played in terms of like the heft and weight of everything you do. Like,
Yeah.
and
There's a reason that
I played that
with
a lot more than Dark Tide, so I'll have to pick that up now. It's on PlayStation.
right. There's a reason that there's so many players in Darktide that will endlessly complain about server issues, error code issues, balancing and bugs and
And still
whatnot,
play it and put
but
2,000 hours in.
and still play it, put 2,000 hours in, but don't you dare complain about how the weapons feel, how this feels, like how the sound,
Okay,
the
so
gun sounds, the
Fact
weapon sounds
Shark has
feel.
the, and I remember thinking they
They
felt
have that
good.
down.
I'm definitely gonna check it out and be reminded because yeah, it's a good point. But yeah, like
Like it's
those are anyway. Before we get too
there's
off
something to be
topic,
said about there's something to be said about like the way your weapon handles feedback
Yeah, in
to the
any
player.
game.
There
Yeah.
it's important. That's basically the point. Is that it's very important to how your
Marvel
weapon
Rivals
moves.
is like playing Skyrim in VR, and then like Space Marine 2 is like playing a game that's actually meant for VR sword combat. Like I don't know if you've
Like
ever seen
it's
Skyrim in VR because if you've ever seen melee hits in Skyrim
the
are literally
wiffle
just
bats,
it's
the
just an
iron
animation.
wiffle bat swords.
It's not even just that. It's that because of the way damage works, obviously there's no physics to it or anything. So it's just the weapon colliding with the enemy causes the damage. You can just you can tap 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 tap
Yeah,
tap tap.
yeah.
It's like those people that play Beat Saber like professionally, quote unquote, or high level Beat Saber players. They're not doing cool moves and shit. They're just waving their wrists.
It's like, oh, I thought Dance Dance Revolution was supposed to teach me how to dance, and they're holding on the bar and everything. Like this looks
Are you
so.
make okay? Ha ha, deep cut. I feel dumb, but that's
little
I did
reference.
I
We'll
did
see.
think
We'll save that for the real fans.
I
I'll
really
elaborate.
did. I was like, what's the whole point is to be good at dancing,
That
like
Skyrim VR was gonna teach me how to fight with a
sword
sword.
fight.
You told me I just gotta wiggle it on your
I'm
body.
just gonna wiggle it. I'm gonna wiggle it to death. Okay,
Well,
yeah,
well,
VR is
feedback's
supposed to be
important.
radiation poisoning.
okay, so that's Rivals. What was the else? I mean, we were gonna talk about some upcoming stuff. January, as I've already discussed, is kind of dry. Uh, anybody who's a massive fan of
Dry
indie,
January.
anyone who's a massive fan of
No
like super
booze.
niche indie games, like if Dominic Terrason somehow stumbles upon this, don't come at me and be like, "Bro, 30 games just released this week that are incredible." Like I know, like, dude, like every time I say I don't feel like there's something to play, I just hear that, like I just see that man's tweets in the back of my mind where he's just like, "Oh, it's this week. Oh, I got 38 games that came out that I'm excited." I'm like, okay, like I guess you just know everything coming out in every indie scene everywhere all the time, you fucking wizard. Like I had to ask him at one point. I was like, "How many games do you actually get to finish?" And he was just like, "Honestly, not that many because I'm trying a lot of different stuff." I was like, "Okay, good to know." Because like, if you finish all this shit, I'd feel like incompetent. But yeah, so a little bit dry this month. I mean, we have big things. We have we don't have anything big. I mean, we have Sniper Elite, which looks interesting. Sniper Elite Resistance on the 30th at the very end of the month, and then I'm kind of KG's been giving me shit for it. I'm kind of interested in Sin Duality, I think is what it's called, and it looks like it's an extraction shooter where you play as a mech, but it's also got like some weeb shit in it for some reason, like which kind of feels out of place because like everything else about it seems like
That was the first strike.
yeah, KG doesn't like Japanese things. Anyway, I don't take it personally,
Jesus
but
Christ. We're editing that out in post. Goddamn.
I
My
mean,
words were misconstrued.
I'm pretty sure it's like it's Bandai Namco or Koei Tecmo, so clearly this is you have a bias. I'm just saying. Anyway,
one of my friends is Japanese. What are you talking about?
prove me wrong. How far did you get in Metaphor?
I played the demo.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
So I'm
Don't
looking-
try and conveniently leave out the whole like hour of pre-podcast discussion we were going on about.
No,
Yeah,
I don't want to
that's
get
true.
I
We
don't
won't
want to
get
get roasted
into
for
it,
I don't want to
but
get roasted
you know
for
what
my
you
takes
did.
on rap music anymore. That's okay. I'm good.
You know what you did. You know what you did.
You know
Oh.
what you did.
Apparently, I'm guilty of countless microaggressions.
At this point, it's a macro
Yeah.
aggression.
It's a macroaggression.
That's true. That's true.
Uh,
I got a whole list.
What? Shit. John blanks already. Oh, we're talking January. Okay, so yeah. So I was thinking about
I think Hyper Light Breaker released.
Hyper Lightbreaker just dropped today because as of recording, this is the 14th. So yeah, Hyper Lightbreaker just dropped in early access today.
Heard some good things.
I'm sure it's incredible. Like I haven't heard anything. I haven't looked at anything. I don't want to know anything. I just want to play it, but I can't because I'm a broke bitch. So we'll wait till this weekend. I also just I don't like playing games on my PC unless I have to.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's like here's the thing: people will be like, it's not that much more tedious, and it's like honestly, it kind of is now because when you get used to playing on a console and making content and stuff, it's so much more convenient to do like all your recording and just get started and playing a game. Like a lot of the time on PC, it's a matter of I have to check settings. I have to make sure it's all working right. I have to make sure it's not conflicting with the software. I have to make sure the game capture things all like agreeing with
Yeah.
stuff. Like No, it's like on PlayStation, my capture card just plays the game and it just picks up the game and I boot up the game and I know it's gonna work because it's on console and it has to. like, like I just don't have any of these extra anxieties about like how well is it gonna run? Am I gonna maintain a stable frame rate? Is it gonna do this or that? It's like no, I'm just gonna get whatever experience it gives me because it's a console.
Right,
Like,
right.
you get
So
what
we
you get. You
got
don't throw a
Hyper Light
fit.
Breaker.
Yeah, Hyperlight
You know,
Breaker.
Destiny, Dynasty Warriors. I'll say
Des-
Destiny.
did you say
Dynasty Warriors.
Destiny
I think I said
Warriors? I think it's called.
Destiny Warriors. I'm
I
not
think
a
it's called
real
Destiny
gamer.
Rising. That's if we're talking dumb Destiny spinoffs, sir. It's called Destiny Rising.
Yeah, that's true.
Looks
That's
like
true. That's true. Got
looks
my
like
games
dog
crossed up.
looks like dog water, like all mobile games.
So Dynasty Warriors Origins wasn't super hyped for this, but the demo was really impressive. I really enjoyed the changes that they
That's true.
made to the
That's
combat
in a couple.
mechanics.
Just for context, that is in 3 days as time of this recording. Yeah, 17th.
January 17th, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the fence with that
So
one. It looks like. I mean, Jada gave it a great review. Like it
that's
sound.
true. That's true. 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I mean, she's like one of the only true gamers I trust now. So like, it's almost certainly a good game. I'm
From
just
a
like,
longtime fan of Dynasty Warriors, I trust her opinion.
and see, I've never played a Dynasty Warriors game, and like, this might be a good.
I
This
played
sounds like a good.
demos of
This
Dynasty
sounds.
Warriors.
You play demos of everything. We'll get to that story again another time.
Yeah,
Di-
another episode.
yeah, Dynasty Warriors looks good. I think I just kind of I need a I need something fresh. I need something to shake up my. I'm a little tired of tapping melee attack and then tapping block and then tapping dodge and then parry and dodge and melee attack. I'm like the basic third
Right,
person
right.
action melee combat loop. I'm just like, I mean, it's like the basis of so many things. I'm just like, I think I need something else right now. But like,
Oh, I
normally I'm not.
definitely get that, you know.
Normally, that's the first time I felt that way in a
Genre
while.
fatigue's a real thing.
I have
I
not.
mean, it can happen to you
It's
at
crazy
any
though because
time.
it's
I
like
could play
genre.
like 10 looter shooters in a row, but then like the 11th comes and
And
it's
it
like I don't
drives you
want anything
crazy.
to do with it.
Yeah, it's weird
You
because
know,
like
it
I've played
just
so many games this year, and a lot of them are not like that. Like most of the games I played weren't third
Mhm.
person melee action games or anything, but like I've just played enough. I think it's because I played a lot of good ones, and a lot of the new ones I'm seeing are also good, but none of them are showing me anything like crazy different. I think like I've
Right.
played so many good ones. I think that's the basis is that like so many great games have their own version of mastered the third person melee action. Like I loved it in Dragon Age, even though I'm not super in love with God of War. The combat's good. Like I can dig it. Like
You love the God of War like, but you don't love the original.
let's not get into it right now.
Very interesting. All right. Yeah, yeah. It's another episode.
That's another.
Let's
It's
do it for the
another.
bad takes segment. You know.
I'm almost done with it. I'm getting there because I'm getting through it. I want to play Ragnarok really bad, so I'm pushing through it. The story's great. I'm just a little. We'll talk about it some other time. Anyway, story's great. I'm not saying I don't like God of War.
A little context: he's playing on Give Me God of War difficulty for his first playthrough.
I have
So some of his
ups,
opinions are a little clouded by that.
ups and downs, ups and downs. Yeah, I've played just so many things that do that well, like whether it's Souls likes or Final Fantasy 16 or like Dragon's Dogma or Dragon Age or Final
Yeah,
Fantasy
yeah.
7 Reboot. Fuck, there's a lot of them. Never mind. There's a lot of games are
There's
doing good.
lot.
A lot of games are doing good third person action combat right now. So like, yeah, I think I just played a lot of that, and I'm like, this looks really. And I'm like, we have Monster Hunter coming up. I'm like, I can't like burn myself out before Monster Hunter because that's like another 1,000 hours of third person action combat. Like
Exactly.
like I'm signing up for the life sentence there. Like everybody I know
I
and their
think it's
mother's gonna be
time.
playing that fucking game. So
Yeah, yeah.
I shouldn't
I
swear so
think
much,
it's
but yeah.
okay to hold off on playing Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah.
You know, if
I'm
you've
so desperate for
played
something
so
fresh right
many.
now, but like I also it's something new, but it's not fresh for me. I'm like, damn it, I want something new and fresh right now. So I'm looking forward to what am I'm gonna play Sniper Elite because I haven't played one of those. I've only played one of them and only briefly, and I'm interested in what Atomfall is like because same studio is making that. So figured we'll just get
Yeah,
a little bit
March.
of experience with their at the studio. I'm sure they're going to be completely different things, but it's always just kind of cool to see. Like, it's not because I think they'll be similar in any way. It's because I like seeing the little hints. Oh, I bet that came from the same team. Like, you know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Like the little, just the way they design things. You get that little bit of insight into how they think about stuff. So yeah, so I'll play Sniper Elite. Atom Falls in March. February's packed as hell as usual, so we'll have a lot more to say on games for February when that comes around.
Yeah, that February is the real start to
If we
2025
make
gaming.
it to February, the planet's gonna blow up before
That's
then.
true.
Trust
That's
me.
true. You know, the
That's true.
fire. It's getting crazy out
Don't
there.
even get me started on the weather machines.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
right,
Oh my god.
right.
Oh god. All right.
But a quick preview of, like, February, you know, like Monster Hunter, even in like the first 10 days, we got the Monster Hunter Wilds beta, the second beta coming out. We got the Elden Ring Night Rain network test coming out.
Yeah.
Like even even Skate, I think, is doing a playtest, right? Going into February.
Yeah, see, that
So
doesn't
just a
count because
bunch of
I'm never
uh
gonna. I don't get into playtests because they just don't like me.
yeah, that's true, that's true.
I'm
You
gonna
know,
apply for them now that I know. I think I applied for the skate one, so we'll see. But like,
you gotta write a 500-word essay how why you're a suitable candidate for the Skate playtest.
if the qualification for getting, if I would promise every playtest that I'd do like a video of some kind if they let me play it. Like, I'd take that deal just to get into every playtest. Like, there's so many things I want to try ahead of time, just to, like, get a vibe. Like,
Yeah, yeah. But you gotta
it's
sign
also,
up now, you know,
yeah. I mean, I
so you
played the
can
Mecha
plead your
Break
case
playtest.
later.
That was cool. Hopefully,
Yes,
man, I
February
want to
is
get into
the
the art. I want to get
month.
into Arc Raiders. Like, I know they've done some closed alphas and stuff. I want to get into that so bad.
I heard about that. Yeah, I heard about some of the playtests that they're doing for that.
I
It
want to.
looks
Well, that's
very promising.
talk for another time. I think that's. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
other. We don't really have anything coming this month that anyone's super hyped to talk about. So I guess we'll kind of wrap it up there, right? There's not a lot of upcoming things. I guess we'll stay current with our current events in the next couple of days, and I'm sure something
It's
will
a bit
happen.
of a
There's
calm
always
before
some
the storm here,
there's
you
always some
know?
dumb shit happening. Yeah, but slow start to the year, other than like all the crazy shit happening outside of video games.
Yeah, yeah.
That maybe that's it. We have
The
to have a
rest of the
slow.
month.
It's slow for us because like every other industry and every other part of the planet is like crazy shit. Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I think that's it from us. Any thoughts? Any closing thoughts from anybody?
Well, I think
I can
that's
tell.
it. You know,
I can tell
January.
Breezy's ready for bed.
Yeah. It is Breezy's bedtime, so we'll
You
keep
just.
it
I'll
short.
press that record button earlier next time. That's my bad.
We're doing a 24-hour podcast.
24 hours. Woo!
Okay,
Yeah,
well
yeah.
we'll call it there then. That was we'll wrap it up and say that was episode 2 of In the Garden, and we'll be back in a couple of days with more current events and more things gaming, and we're always talking a lot of shit about a lot of stuff, so I'm sure we'll have something to say.
Yeah, yeah. More crazy takes
Oh,
from our
and if
host here.
wait, before I go, if you haven't yet, play Caves of Qud. That's QUD, as Breezy calls it, Quud. It's like Caves of
Yes, Caves of
Quud.
Quud.
Play
Quud.
Caves of Quud. It's also I found out the way the explanation for how you say it is the word's made up, so say however you want. That's their
Sounds
stance.
about right.
I'm like,
Sounds about right.
that's their kind of like,
That's
that's such a
that's
base
base.
take.